And staying with the Trump administration, the White House is now scrambling to hire back employees who worked at the National Nuclear Security Administration, or the NNSA, which is housed within the Department of Energy. Now, this comes after the Department of Government Agency, or DOGE, reportedly ordered the firing of more than 300 NNSA staff under its cost-cutting plans. DOGE requested the layoffs without knowing that the Energy Department staffers were specialized in handling America's nuclear weapons. After firing the employees on Friday of last week, the Trump administration is now trying to rehire them after realizing the serious blunder. But now the fired employees had some of the highest levels of security clearances and were responsible for designing, handling, and building the U.S. nuclear stockpile. One of the hardest hit offices was in Texas, where at least 30% of the workforce was fired overnight. And the Trump administration was unaware that the Texas office was tasked with reassembling nuclear warheads, which is one of the most sensitive jobs in the nuclear sector. Now the Trump administration is desperately trying to trace the sacked employees, but are unable to track down many because they don't have their updated contact information. Meanwhile, the White House has also begun firing hundreds of Federal Aviation Administration employees weeks after the fatal mid-air crash in Washington, D.C. These layoffs, too, are a part of the cost-cutting measures proposed by Elon Musk's DOGE. And now many federal employees are cashing in on the president's buyout offer and quitting the workforce entirely.
And the reason why I took this offer is because, we're already such a small program and we're not considered mission critical employees to the IRS. We're not handling tax season, not on the phone. So there was already talks about our program potentially getting cut in the past. And with the current administration, there was just no strong guarantee that my job would last under, the next 4 years.
We already knew that we were getting a return to work. March 1st, everybody had to be 100% in the office. So I was at that point, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to resign. So when the buyout was first presented, at the time I was like, oh, this seems like it's going to be very helpful. This is great. But then also very quickly came the idea that this seems too good to be true. The federal government saying all federal workers who would like to sign up for the deferred resignation and resign, you'll not have to work and get paid for 7 to 8 months, full benefits, full salary.
These recent layoffs are just the latest mass firings under the Trump administration as it attempts to cut federal costs. But with nuclear security and the aviation industry at stake, will the premature firing spell disaster for President Trump? Only time will tell.
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you. Touted as the minimum defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir in we're on our way to Tel Aviv. Team measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
We were actually.
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote effort. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion, 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.